mitigating factors. A lot of those bad boys.
Oh no!
Oh no! Oh no! Oh no!
Oh no! Oh no! Oh no!
Come on!
Yeah, I can't, cause no, he's really cooked. He's really cooked. Like
I
I
don't
don't
even need to go over any other stuff.
Yeah, we didn't even need to look it over.
2 years. Count it.
As the Rambob No Pants Chronicles goes on, one question shall be asked for real. How long is Rambob going to be in prison now? Numbers have been thrown out for the longest time ever since we even started covering him. As was saying 70 years, as was saying 25. Nowadays, heads are saying 31, 36, but I ain't gonna lie. The number is really to be determined because obviously we don't know what punishment he will really get for some of these. But with that being said, we can try to predict and estimate. So you already know what it is. In today's vid, we could see how much time Rambob may potentially get. So I ain't gonna talk too much.
Should be all of it.
Tough. Let's get right into it. You already know. When there's smoke, there's fire. There may be a certain guy. When there's Ramsey Khalid Ismail, there's Andrew Esquire. We got Somali's prison sentence prediction. Of course, you guys want to watch the original video down in the description. First link to give your own opinions and conjecture. As always, let's get right into it.
Okay. Talk to me, Andrew.
We can now make a prediction on how many years Johnny Somali may stand behind bars. Of course, this is Legal Mindset. We teach you to be your own judge. I'm Andrew Esquire, American attorney living over here in Asia. And on top of this Johnny Somali, Ramsey Khalid Ismail case in Seoul, South Korea. Now, our members of the Somali conviction team, that is a team of people that is working to put away Johnny Somali, has been doing a lot of work. And one of the things that we did not previously translate, which we now have translated and over for you guys, is actually the sentencing guidelines. I hadn't seen or heard about these until very recently, actually, because we're just moving into the phase where they become relevant. That is the phase as we look at guilt and innocence and as we look at what the punishment will ultimately be. And sentencing guidelines are commonly used around the world, including in the United States. We have sentencing guidelines in most jurisdictions for criminal acts, criminal penalties, which generally say, okay, if a criminal has these characteristics, this is the level of punishment we give them. And generally what that is meant to do is to separate out first-time criminals or criminals that might have some, mitigating factors, that is lessening factors, versus criminals that are really bad, that have aggravating factors.
Yeah, so I'm seeing it. So basically, like, heads that are like, some of the crimes is like, okay, it's more like lesser type of jumps where it's like misdemeanors, or they're like, obviously, like Andrew said, a first-time criminal. So, like, they aren't really going in with that intent. Like, there isn't no priors behind it. Like, it really shows that, like, maybe they could have committed this by accident. It wasn't really that supposed to be malicious. And again, I'm no lawyer, as you can see. But, I'm trying to break it down, basic understanding. Are you smarter than a fifth grader? Trilly's not. We know how that goes. Yeah, what time is it? Can we do math? Oh, we still got some time.
Ooh,
we
got
math. Okay, we got to get the math in here. All right, but then obviously an aggravated is like what I would presume Johnny kind of is now, where you have priors and then going and doing more crimes. They're going to charge you a little bit harsher because, yo, bud, you've been doing too much. You've been doing too much.
People's moms, dads, going to their house.
We're talking about repeat criminals, people that do things particularly heinous. So you want to punish a little bit differently, and there are some guidelines for that in most places, and Korea indeed has them. So we found those, and we're going to get into that today. And of course, I've got a little presentation for you. In that, I do want to give you some
You love me a good PowerPoint.
disclaimers. These are based on the 2024 sentencing guidelines. So there will be an update in July of 2025. So we're going to get an update before the trial is over. Of course, as you know, The next
It
trial
might be
date for
worse.
Johnny Somali
Yeah.
is in August, so we'll have an update before the sentencing. The sentencing for Johnny Somali, we don't have a date on that. My best guess is very late in 2025, if not in 2026, when he's ultimately found guilty on all charges and sentenced. I think that's my estimate.
Yeah, I'll tell y'all what, bro. This this boy has been long. It's been a long process, and it only gets longer. No pause, because that's just the truth here on this one. Yeah, it's been going on for a while. It's like what? It's been at least like what, 7 months? Because October, November, December, and then we're in May now, so that adds another 5. So like almost 7, 8 months.
It's gonna be over a year.
Sheesh, bro.
You better enjoy this freedom.
Yeah, why is that? You don't think you're gonna be free? Wait, nah, he beat it. He's beating the case like OJ.
He beating the case, we gotta win the race.
Huh?
Whatever that song is.
Oh yeah,
He gotta beat the case.
beat the case. I did the race.
Yeah, something.
Beat it up. Or I not even.
I don't know, whatever.
You like that?
He was running.
He sounds like
calling
TK.
that. Yeah, he was
I got
calling
the
that.
content spray.
Yeah, see? Why he ain't streamed last couple of days?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Yeah.
We should be asking those questions.
But that said, of course, things can change. So this is my estimate as of date. And it is also just an interpretation based on the reading by myself and the Somali conviction team. It's our understanding, which once again, you need to understand may vary from the interpretation and ultimate decision by the judge. And also understand that guidelines can sometimes be varied from, so the judge may choose to put more weight in certain things and ignore other things. That's at the discretion of the judge. So that said, let's jump into it and look at some of the documents that relate to this. And we have what we have is we have all of these in a kind of PowerPoint format for each of the, or sorry, I have a PowerPoint for overall, but we have these in Adobe. Over here, and these are pretty good layouts in these tabs of what's going on with the sentencing for each charge. Now, there are a lot of statutes that relate to how you calculate the math, including a statute that says, okay, you take the first charge and you can go up to the maximum on that charge, but for subsequent charges that are the same charge, right, they're the same type of charge, like obstruction, like deepfakes, you take 50% of what would be the range for the charge for each additional one. And so the way that would work out is saying, okay, well, in this case, we're going to take for the aggravated minimum, right? For example, for obstruction, we're going to take 1 year for the first count, and then we've got 2 more. So that would be 6 months, 6 months, which 6 months, 6 months, 1 year, add that together, 2 years for the aggravated minimum. So there's 3 categories I'm going to walk you through here, and that is.
Nah, that's making sense. I ain't gonna lie.
So there's some minimum going on.
Like to a degree, because especially with heads like not heads. Crimes like the deep fakes. I was saying there's no minimum for that, so this would give like a general basis of where that could be. Okay.
Aggravated, minimum, and default. And just so you understand what this means, mitigated means there's a bunch of factors that make the defendant look good. They're very
I don't think there'll be very many of those.
sympathetic. There's someone that the court should have pity on.
Okay, well, let's see. That excludes Johnny. Moving on.
Yeah.
This is a good boy.
Let's go down.
This is a good boy.
Good boy. Ooh.
Who's that?
Mom, would you describe Johnny Somali Ramsey Cletus Smile as a
We
good
going
boy?
to the other row, other group,
I think we
other
should.
column.
I think we should.
Don't even go in that
Default is
Go,
just a
no.
normal boy. It's a
No.
normal person.
Oh! Bomber
Guess
clap!
what? Guess what? Well, we know where Johnny is.
Ah, man.
Don't
Would
even waste
you
your time reading that other stuff. Just go down aggravating factors. Just go down that.
would you say that Johnny's a normal boy?
Normal on behalf of what?
Moving on.
I don't know.
Regular person, maybe they have both good and bad. Maybe kind of the good and the bad kind of cancel each other out. That's
Okay, what? Okay, can somebody define good in this case? Because I'll tell you, there's bad. But if there's supposed to be good and bad, what are we defining as good? Because even some of this good, like remember he was trying to represent and put on for the 14-year-old South Korean kids that were there. But yeah, it's supposed to be good in practice, but in actuality, it was terrible.
Wait.
What?
He gonna say he fed the homeless, cause he had found a homeless guy on the street. He said he fed him.
Okay, so you fed the homeless.
He
And what
said
about the
that
countless people
he
you
wanted,
harassed?
alcohol, so he went and got it for him.
That okay? So now you're
I
enabling
don't know.
people
I'm
with
just
alcohol.
trying.
So
I'm
like,
just trying to figure out the good. Where can you find the good at?
you can't.
Oh, I know what the good is. He's staying indoors.
Moving on.
Kind of the default position. And then you have aggravated. And then you have the bad boys. And Ramsey Khalid Ismail, as we're going to see,
Bing,
has
bing,
a lot
bing.
of aggravating
Bing, bing,
factors.
bing.
Bingo!
Bing, bing,
Bingo!
You might as well
And
put
not a lot of
put a black paper on that side, guys. Put a
And
black
Bingo
paper.
was his name.
Put a black paper right here, and let's just read from this side. Oh, let's read down O, 'cause that's about it.
Where there's just no B-I-N-G.
Let's just read down O, 'cause
mitigating factors.
oh,
A lot of
no.
those bad boys.
Oh, no.
Oh no! Oh no!
Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! 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 No!
Okay. Come on.
Yeah, I can't, cause no, he's really cooked. He's really cooked. Like
I
I
don't
don't
even need to go over any other stuff.
Yeah, we didn't even need to look it over.
2 years. Count it.
Good points, not a lot of the good boy points. So let's just read through some of these mitigating factors, and they're very similar for obstruction, deepfake sentencing. I'll just go through some of them here on this abbreviated fast facts version.
Okay.
But if you want to see me go through all of them, you can of course check out my full length live. So let's look at some factors. Cases where there's a special reason to consider participation in the crime.
No.
Cases where the motive for the crime can be considered.
No.
And
Cases where the degree of power, hierarchy, or obstruction of business is minor.
not as much. At least, well, the 7-Eleven employee, the elderly woman, she would probably go against that. Wouldn't be feeling that one.
In cases where the crime is committed through negligence.
Negligence of what? Of brain cells? Then I guess it counts.
If the actor is deaf or mute or has diminished capacity,
needs to be
right? If they were
Well, no.
No, not in a negative way. Somebody's a
Yeah,
mute
I
as
would
in
say that's
silent,
definitely
like
a
mute.
clarified moment. Yeah, I ain't
Sorry.
gonna lie. That's 100%.
Mute as in the button, like that.
Yeah, I already know. That's about to say. Anyone
Thank
with
you.
any, you know what I'm saying, disabilities, things as such.
No,
always
no.
gonna be respected.
That's what I mean, as in quiet. Because every time I keep telling them,
Guys, clip it! Mom's canceled!
passively participating, right? If there was genuine remorse. Now, let's look over here
Nah, another one said no prior criminal record. I saw that, and he got that too.
on aggravating factors. When the offender actively led or directed commission of the crime.
All right, well, I guess it's over.
yeah.
All right,
you.
well, I guess it's over.
When committing the crime was particularly heinous. When the crime
Which one do you want me to bring up? The deepfakes, I think Bong Bong would say it's pretty heinous.
targeted multiple or unspecified victim
It's completely over. That's exactly what these deepfakes are.
and was repeatedly committed over a period.
100% what these deepfakes are.
Did Somali do that? We'll continue. When the degree of obstruction was severe. When there's instigation of a subordinate. When there's
Hanky poo.
a blameworthy motive for the crime. A motive perhaps like internet fame and clout.
For the money. For the club.
Yeah, I knew it was coming. For the money. For the club.
And trying to farm this for clout and money. A repeat offense, previously convicted. So, by the way, remember, with 3 charges, even if they're in the same type of crime, that's a repeat offense. So, number 1 is first conviction, then second and third. Next is heterogeneous recidivism, different category of repeat offense. And
I ain't gonna lie. Listen, I'll be full transparent. Trilly is not the smartest bull, but what does this mean? This,
I don't know.
This
That's why-
sound like a
that's why I
spell
was
out of
like-
Harry Potter.
Andrew just went past that. Like, okay. Well, she just.
Like, I'm sorry, y'all. Like, no, yeah, but now that we done like took a sidebar on this, now I have to look this up because like, what heterogeneous? Wait, hold on. I'm sorry, y'all. The G on this keyboard does not work. We need to get a new John. What does it say? Recidivism? Is it here? Yeah. Okay, yeah, I guess we're all doing Google searches today. Let's you learn something new every day, y'all. Heterogeneous recidivism recognized that not all offenders had the same propensity to reoffend or had the same response to interventions. I would agree with this. Yeah, and they all don't have the same response to like reoffenses and all that type of John. This is Ramsey Khalid Ismail. He just put on Kanye's John the other day. I think he be still doing this jazz. I mean, is it just me?
Anyway, that whole row.
And Big O was his name. Oh, like, yeah, we're gonna see him later. Like, I don't.
And then there's harm caused during settlement attempts. That doesn't count. And same category, prior prison sentence. So you've got, in all of this, I consider seeing more aggravating factors, right? Such as actively leading it, right? Committing kind of crime.
I think he got a full board. Full board. I ain't gonna lie. You looking real good. Bingo. Wait, hold on. Bingo. Like, yo.
Spree and also having horrible motive. That kind of falls more in aggravating than I think mitigating. For deepfake,
in a serious factor, though, yeah, like more of his things instead of mitigating would fall in aggravating because obviously, like when it comes particularly to heinous crimes. Clearly, blameworthy motive. Duh. Crime targeting specific people multiple times. Duh. Deepfakes, stuff like that. Like, it's very clear. Instigation of a subordinate.
All right, come on, we're not gonna read them all over again. It's just Johnny's name is all the way down the board.
There's also a and by the way, let's go into the punishment here. So for a mitigated case, it's fine up to 8 months. For default case, it's 6 months up to a year, and then aggravated 1 year and 3.5. Now, mind you, this is just for one charge. So we have a table of some.
Oh yeah, and this is just obstruction of business.
So
this ain't
he
even
could get
deepfake.
minimum. Yeah, he's about to get to that. It's 1 year. So say if we give him the minimum.
Cooked.
If we give him the minimum, he could get 2 years for the interference of business.
Oh, he's boxed.
That's what Andrew's saying. So say minimum 1 year for the one, and then the other 2, he'll get half of that 1 year. So it'll equal 2 years for all 3.
Yeah, for all them together.
But I thought he wasn't stepping a foot
because
in
you were stepping a foot in a jail cell like OJ, beating the case like him. Crazy works. But my thing is my main thing to point out is that all this stuff we're showing for and all this information is coming off of justice obstruction of business. So we changed this out to like the deepfake.
Yeah, now we're about to do it
right
now.
The time goes up like. This
summary table that puts this all together for you because we've got, remember, 3 obstruction charges. So we'll do the math for you at the end.
What happened? What happened?
Oh, no, I saw it. I saw it up there. Oh.
You saw what?
The deepfake. This is the deepfake one now.
Okay. Oh, yeah, because the distribution of false images. Let's go.
And then we've got distribution of false images. That's deepfake. So there's 3 categories, and Johnny Somali is going to fall in the last one, distribution for commercial purposes. So if you create a deep...
Bomba clap.
You trying to make a commercial?
Bomba clap.
Oh, God.
You trying to make a commercial? Well, he was trying to start that one venture, as you know. I ain't gonna lie, as you know.
Well, he in number 3, so let's go on across.
I'm about to say, let's see. Is it bingo, bango, bongo?
Deepfake, that's category 1. That's kind of one of the lighter ones. Then if you distribute it, that's category 2. But if you distribute it for commercial purposes, meaning you are making money on it, which Johnny Somali was, that is category number.
Right on the stream. I bet you they was sending them super chats, huh?
3. So this is going to get this level of punishment, which is higher than production and distribution because you're distributing it and making money. So let's look at the mitigating factors for deepfakes.
Oh, that's wasting our time.
If there's particularly extenuating circumstances for the involvement, if the content of the edited, synthesized, processed, or reproduced materials is difficult to recognize, well, that's not.
See what I mean?
Huh.
Andrew, let's just jump on over.
I wonder if you can specifically point out who's in these deepfakes. Funny.
Not true. If there's genuine remorse, if there's no prior criminal record, if there's general cooperation with the investigation.
Yo, Andrew, stop playing. Can you just go on the other side?
No,
I'm done.
Yo, it was cooperation when he went back to the police station to get his selfie stick.
Oh,
I don't think I ever see him cooperate with police ever. Yo, wasn't he instigating the police when they were in the car the one time?
Yeah.
And then the police drove off. He was like, "Yeah, I own this city." Yo, bro, I'm not wasting time on Red Bob No Pants no more, bro. This is getting ridiculous.
Just go on the other side.
Yo, this is
yeah.
Remember, ladies and gentlemen, at every turn, Johnny Somali has said "F you" to the folks at law enforcement, at Soul Law Enforcement.
Like, yo, I don't want anyone to ever think me and mom or me and the boss be pre-watching or even me on my page talking about stuff. No, it's just the factor of like, yeah, we've seen it all,
It's
bro.
the obvious. It's
Like, we've seen it all. We've seen everything. I can point out every single moment, bro. Like, yeah, you're just blatantly lying. Like you just straight up are. Like.
Repeatedly over and over and over again. If you have passive participation, and then if you have somebody who's deaf, mute, diminished capacity, voluntarily surrendering, etc., and if the victim gave a waiver of punishment, that is not what happened here in this case. Next, if there's a large amount of profit, if there's harm caused during settlement negotiations, meaning coming after the victim,
Exactly what he did to Bong Bong. Try to intimidate her and all that jazz.
after the person that you're trying to settle with. Let's look at here. The method was heinous. If there's a blameworthy motive for the crime, once again, profit in internet clout. If the crime targeted unspecified or multiple victims or was repeated over a considerable period.
Bong Bong, Dalgoon, potentially Youngman, potentially other South Korean streamers cooked.
If there's a vulnerable victim. If the crime caused severe harm to the victim or instigation of a subordinate. So I think that in this, you see more aggravating than you see more mitigating as well for the distribution of false images. So what does that mean for our overall time? Where's our count at given all of that stuff? Well, you can go over to, we'll go over here to our little presentation and I'll show you. We've got at least
Okay.
6 months on the clock here. So let's look at this table. This puts everything together.
Okay,
this adds it all up and kind of gives you the different quadrants. So if this was absolutely mitigated, if the judge thought that Johnny was a good boy, then likely the minimum, assuming he is guilty for everything, the minimum would likely be around 6 months in behind bars.
If it was mitigated. But we know it's definitely not mitigated.
But that's the minimum.
Yeah, this in therefore terms would be the minimum if it got mitigated. And they were like, okay, well, yeah, there's justifiable reasons for him, but that is
he probably could have shut up. It's just that simple. Nope. Okay,
that didn't
happen.
Because deepfakes, the minimum there would be 6 months. Obstruction, they could give a fine. So let's assume they give a fine. That would be 6 months. That would be 6 months. The default, that means if they're neutral, if it's neither good nor bad, right? 1 year for obstruction, 1 year, 6 months for deepfakes. That's 2 years and 6 months in a neutral position. Now let's go to if the judge thinks it's aggravated. And we have a lot of factors pointing towards aggravated.
Me personally, looking at all of these, I think I'm definitely going to go aggravated minimum. I think that's where I'm probably at. This is
so
definitely
4 years, 3 months.
Yeah, this is what I think he'll get probably.
Aggravation. 2 years for obstruction, 2 years and 3 months for deepfakes, 4 years and 3 months as a minimum if the judge finds this aggravated.
I find that fair. I feel like, because, again, I just go back to, yeah, we all hate Johnny, yada, yada. We're yelling on him, condemning him. But, we have to be realistic, though. Is this stupid internet bull, nuisance IRL streamer, yeah, he's done a ton of bad stuff. And, again, this is not me sympathizing and or justifying it, though. I think he should get time. No matter what. Again, their deepfakes are mandatory. So, no matter if I felt like he shouldn't get nothing or not, he's going. But, yeah, other people are, taking people's lives. I was even saying this on another video. Other people taking people's lives, doing heinous crime, doing these, straight robbing people for real, doing all this bad stuff. Dude, Johnny's just some internet idiot who's done a lot of bad stuff. But, at the end of the day, he's when you think of a general criminal, he's not that. I know I say all the time, he's international criminal, all that type of jazz. Nah, he's an international idiot. But, yo, other people are doing really, really terrible things. I think we should save the max for them bulls because yeah, they need to stay there. But Johnny, hey, you give him 4 years, almost 5 if you round it up. Hey, bye. I ain't gonna lie. Hopefully you decide you come out this bull. This ain't 4 months like it was in Japan. This 4 years. You come out this bull. You gonna be 28 because he's 24 right now. You gonna come out, bro. Hopefully you learn to never pick up a camera again. Hey, man, I would say go start a family, but I still don't think you should do that then.
Let me say this once again. If Johnny Somali is, the judge finds that this is actually aggravated, the crimes were aggravated, not default, not mitigated, we're looking at 4 years and 3 months minimum. And that ranges up to 12 years, based on 5 years as the maximum punishment you can get for obstruction and 7 years for deepfakes. That's because the way some of the statutes work, they actually limit the punishment for compound crimes, for similar type crimes. So the maximum is 5 and 7. So that maxes him out at 12. He could also technically, I guess, give 12 years and 30 days for the Minor Crimes Act, but that's neither here nor there. So we're looking at 12 years as that maximum there. Now, one last thing, there is the possibility of a suspended sentence. That's something that some people have kind of talked about or mentioned, because it's something akin to like a parole system, or we might view it that way, like in kind of like a USI. But that is very unlikely, because just like with this, there are factors for the mitigation and aggravation of a suspended sentence, like whether it should happen or should not. And when we actually look at those factors for a suspended sentence, and we look at the consideration for a suspended sentence, which is also found in the same guidelines, we see that it indeed usually falls on the side of aggravating and not on mitigating. So if you wanted a suspended sentence, you would want a lot of stuff here. Like, for example, seeing that the crime was spontaneously committed, that there was genuine remorse.
That did. This literally could just. We could just Thanos snap that away.
That there are clear social ties, that there's no prior sentences, that the defendant's health is poor, that there's passive participation, so they were an accomplice, they weren't the one that did it. If they substantially restored damages, paid for everything.
Okay, let's go back over to this side.
If they, let's see here, let's add some other ones here. If they have no other prior convictions of the same type. Let's see. If there are particularly mitigating circumstances regarding the participation in the crime. So it wasn't that bad in the overall context. If the
them deepfakes are pretty bad, I think so.
Content of the recorded material, what's seen, is not easily identifiable or ambiguous.
Nope, we know exactly who is on them, Jones. You want to know why I know exactly who it was? Because Johnny knew exactly who it was. And he decided to show the stream he knew everybody. He knew who exactly it was. I ain't gonna lie, man. I think he's cooked.
We are over here.
If there's substantial measures taken to prevent further dissemination of harm, and if there's kind of voluntary surrender and kind of voluntary disclosure. These aren't things we have. The motive for the crime is reprehensible. Check. The crime victimized vulnerable individuals. Well, we've got a lot of women, we've got a lot of children, got a lot of folks out there that were targeted. If the crime targets unspecified or multiple victims, or has been repeatedly committed over a considerable period, we do have that. And if the method of committing the crime is particularly egregious, showing that to everybody. And then beyond that, here's a big one.
On the stream, distributing it through Discord.
Absence of genuine remorse, lack of social ties, no effort to restore damages.
Not even close. He literally was saying to Bogma he's going to countersue her and try to take court. So that's
reverse.
That's trying to restore damages? Sure.
Oh, and what about
oh, my bad, go ahead.
When he tried to what do you call it? Not blackmail, but try to pay her out, whatever that.
Oh yeah, when he was trying to say, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna just go try to settle," already trying to put that information out there, whatever, trying to mix up and mix up the whole thing that would go down in court. Yeah, nah, you're cooked. We're gonna see you later, bud.
Substantial illicit gains, which we do have, leading role, concealment or attempted concealment of evidence, and causing harm during settlement attempts.
Wait. Drug or alcohol addiction? I was like, did legal minds just skip that? Well, if he did, I'm saying it because it's right there, and that's just like true.
That's obvious.
Like,
we've got a lot of those aggravating factors which lead to not giving a suspended sentence. So I don't think a suspended sentence is likely in the case of Johnny Somali. That's my read on that. What do you guys think? Leave a comment below. What do you think about the sentencing range? Do you think sort of that range of up to 12 years there is fair? Do you think he should get more? What do you think? Let me know.
I think, final
catch you all later.
Okay.
Are you guys enjoying the stream today?
We'll be right back. Y'all already know what it is, gang. You already know. Shout out Legal Mindset. That, of course. Because, yo, did y'all try to skip my viz, man? Somali's prison sentence prediction? By Legal Mindset. We do indeed love to see it. Of course, you already know what it is. Of course, you want to watch the OG vid down in the description. First link to give your own opinions and conjecture. As always, boss, take it away. Give them the final opinions and conjecture.
Hey,
Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Hey. Goodbye.
See you later, Joker.
Get on my hood, Jugger. We gonna see you later, Buster. Nah, but jeez, I ain't gonna lie, Nick. But in a real sense, I would just say, like, real quickly, final page of conjecture, at least for this in a real sense. Like I said, Johnny's an idiot, a moron. He's done very bad things, such as the defakes with Bong Bong, Dalgoon, and other heads. They're mandatory jail time. He deserves to go to jail. His crimes he did, mandatory jail time, as I said. But for him to get crazy max years, let's be realistic. Yeah, we're putting it all for clickbait in the titles and thumbnails. No one thinks he's going to get 35, 36 years in jail. Like, that's not, like, bruh, again, someone who's taken people's lives should get that. Someone who's done other very terrible things, like terrible for real things, should get that. Johnny Smiley's an idiot. Let him rot in jail for a college, till he gets a degree, or till somebody would have to get a degree, because it's like 4 years, 3 months or whatever. And hopefully he gets out and learns to, don't even think about kick.com. Don't think about Twitch TV. Don't think about party.com. Don't think about any of these websites. Don't even think about posting to social media ever again. Yeah. And, I doubt he'll do that. But hey, at least he'll rot in a jail cell for 4 years. So anything else, boss?
No, the 4 years and 3 months.
I feel like it's aggravated. That would be the aggravated minimum within this, yeah. So I feel like that's completely fair. And then we'll be moving on to the next one. I wonder who's next. It won't be Vitaly, I'll tell you that much. No cap. But anything else, boss? You got anything else to add?
No,
talk to him.
No, I'm good. No.
He's cooked.
No.
Is he cooked? No, he is cooked. What do you mean no?
Burnt.
Hey.
Taco.
Don't put him on the stove. Pushing it over to the end screen, everyone. Like this video if you enjoyed. Me and the boss would, of course, very much appreciate that. 6K up, 6K down, because 6K round the way, baby. Turn on that what? Post notification bell so every time the boss truly posts on M&T Mama Trill, that boy will be straight up on your feet, and I ain't gonna play around. Better be watching them vids. Ooh, boss, go ahead and tell me what I gotta do on each and every day.
Watching it from the beginning to the end, please. And thank you for commenting. And we still celebrating my birthday. Hey, it's my birthday.
You know we get down for sure. Other than that, though, y'all already know I say it on every vid. We appreciate everybody for giving us y'all time of day, sitting here gelling with us as always.
Yes.
Other than that, though, yeah, we'll be catching y'all when we cover this bozo on the next one. Peace.